Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and for this layout, I'm going to be documenting the Cirque du Soleil show that Marcus and I went to. My sister had actually gifted us tickets for Christmas this year, along with Mike and my mom. So we all four went together, but our seats were kind of on opposite sides of the stage. So we kind of had to got our own little date nights, which was nice. And then we met up afterwards to go eat dinner. I am obsessed with the Twilight collection from One Canoe 2. You guys know I'm a ride or die One Canoe 2 girl, and I about died when they went on tour because they were probably at the time my favorite scrapbook designer. So I've been hoarding this Twilight collection. I thought I only really had enough to get one more layout done, and I was just kind of feeling like, you know what, it's time to just use the things. Like, it doesn't do me any good sitting in my stash. It's something I really enjoy working with. I haven't been scrapbooking regularly recently, as you guys may have noticed. So when I do scrap, I really just want to play with what makes me excited, and that's One Canoe 2. So I just pulled out this moth paper, which I am in love with. I've been hoarding it the entire time I've had it. I've pulled it in multiple times to try to use whenever I'm going to be using One Canoe 2, but every time it just seems there's some excuse not to use it. So I am planning this entire layout to have this as my background. I only have scraps left. I think I have one 12 by 12 apart from this moth paper, which is that pink floral you see behind all these other layers. So at this point, I'm like, okay, we're getting the moth paper used up, and I'm just going to do my best with the limited scraps that I have. I do have a scrap of this pink plaid that I'm thinking will just be a corner of the 12 by 12, and the rest of it will be this moth paper. So you can kind of see I have it laid out that way. So that's the plan for the background. I kind of stopped thinking about the background for a while and just want to figure out my layers and with the photos and how I'm going to use my scraps. So that's what I kind of decide to do. I have two 4x4s. One of them is the picture of me and Marcus in front of their like promo board. And then the other one is a picture from the actual show, some of the acrobats doing a routine. I love the Kurios show. This is the second time that I had seen this one. I actually took my mom for Mother's Day like years and years and years ago. And so I was really, really happy to go back. And I think this was Marcus's first Cirque du Soleil show. So I was really excited to share that with him. What I decided to do with the scraps that I had some scraps from a cut apart that says figure number 1. I thought it would be really cool to kind of have that be somewhat of a frame for the picture of the show. So you can kind of see I just layered it on top of that 4x4 picture, so it kind of looks more like a single unit with that photo. And now I'm trying to create some layers with the main photo that's me and Marcus, and I really wanted to use this 4x6 card that says home is wherever you are, just because I feel like that's so true with Marcus. He's my rock, and as long as I have him, I am good. So I really enjoy kind of sharing these moments with him and taking him to things he's never got to do before, like Cirque du Soleil. So it was a really great gift that my sister gifted to both of us, that we got to kind of do this. But with the scraps, I had to be pretty creative. So what I decided to do was kind of layer my photo over this 4x6 card, and then try to use some of these yellow scraps to create partial mats around each of these things. So it's matted somewhere by some paper with these two yellows. And so that's kind of what I did with the yellow scraps, the solids. And then I have this really cool, I love this marble with the gold foil, the yellow and the pink. But I only had two little scraps of that too. So I just tucked that top and bottom. So hopefully it looks like a larger layer behind the photo. I also like that this is the only pattern paper that has gold foiling. Typically, I like to make sure that gold is balanced around the page, and that usually means using more than one paper with gold. But I had what I had, so I kind of in the end like that that's the only one with the gold foiling, because it really draws your attention to that main photo, which I like. And now I'm just trying to figure out some other things to use up. In my mind, I'm thinking this might be the last layout I get done with One Canoe 2 Twilight. So I'm wanting to try to pull in the stickers, try to pull in the cut apart. So I have this little other cut apart that says feels like home at the top. I'm thinking that might look cute layered with the figure number 1 photo. I'm going through some other stickers and cut aparts that I have, one of which is a sticker that says, "Love her but leave her wild," which I love because I'm a weirdo. If you guys haven't picked up on that, I mask pretty well on these scrapbook videos, but I got a lot of weird hobbies and interests, and Marcus just rolls with it. And his big thing is just like, you do you. Like, I love you for who you are and all your craziness. So I thought that little tag was just perfect for this page with the both of us. And then for some reason, I just saw these little scissors, and it had gold foiling on it too. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm creating this visual triangle. I have the gold foiling on the paper on the top and bottom of this photo. And now this embellishment over on the right will have some gold foiling. So I'm kind of spreading that gold around that way, which I really liked. I also added some gold and white twine through that tag, and I matted that on a scrap piece of paper. And then there's little scraps of this pink plaid that's going to be a corner element on the 12 by 12. So I wanted to pull that into the layers as well. So what I tried to do with the two little scraps of that I had was try to strategically place them so it looked like a larger mat behind all of these other papers that were going on. And I know it looks crazy right now because all of this is just chaos with the moth paper as the background. And I'm realizing it as I'm putting everything together, but I'm just really like in the flow of creation while I'm making this page. Like, this is one of the pages that I love scrapbooking, when I can get into that zone where my brain just turns off and I can just have fun. And that's kind of what this page was for me. It was very therapeutic to get in here and just have fun with no expectations. And so I'm like, I'm not going to worry about the background right now, how crazy it's looking. I'm just going to get all these layers down and try to use as many scraps as I can, because this might be the last page. I'm realizing as I'm layering and layering and layering that all of these papers are really blending together and get very confusing. So I decided to stop what I was doing, kind of pull off all of the little layers and go back and ink everything. And I decided to ink everything in my archival ink, watering can gray ink. I didn't want something harsh like a black, but I really thought the gray would go really well with the pastels that are already in this collection. So that's all I'm doing now. I'm sorry some of it's off the screen, but all I'm doing is going back and reattaching all of these layers and inking them all as I go this time. And you can really see how that really helps define the edges. I think it makes such a big difference if you feel your papers are all running together and looking a little messy. Inking the edges, I know Tracy likes to doodle around the edges and marker. Anything like that kind of helps define each paper and helps it stand apart from the papers behind it, even if it's a similar color. So that's where I really like the addition of the gray ink. I really think it made a world of difference. And now that I'm kind of re-pieced everything down, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, the moth paper is too much. And so I'm going to end up playing around with a couple other things. But once again, the moth paper gets hoarded, which I'm thinking is a good thing. I was very proud of myself for making this page based around the moth paper. I designed this whole page based off the colors and the feel of that really cool paper, and then I end up not using it. But that means I can get another layout out of this collection. So I'm actually really excited about it. I went into this page with only two 12 by 12s thinking I was going to use both of them, and ended up using neither of them. I used exclusively scraps and a solid piece of cardstock I pulled out of my stash. So I really had fun with this page. You guys know how much I just love using scraps and really getting down to the end of a kit and just getting creative with it, which I had to do with this one too, because yes, I had a lot of cut aparts and stickers, but I wanted some other things with more dimension and more texture. So just things around my desk that I pulled in towards the end. I just love how it ended up looking. That twine being one of them too. I'm really glad that that tag inspired me to pull in some twine, and that adds a little bit more gold. But yeah, this is the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to get all of the layers I know are going to be layered around the photo stuck down. And then I need to figure out the background because I'm getting close to the point where I need to start gluing things down to the background and really looking at it as a whole page instead of just layers around a picture. But I think this part looks really cool. It's really chaotic, but in a fun way. And I think in the end, you can end up seeing everything, even though there's a lot going on. It's one of those pages where it makes me happy to look at, and I notice more things the longer I look at it. So I like how it turned out, even though it's a little, it's a little crazy, by the end. But I think once I switch out the background, it makes a big difference, and you can really take your time and dissect all these layers when you're looking at it that way. I knew for sure I was using this pink plaid scrap. It tied into those layers, those little scraps I added. This is the other 12 by 12 I had to work with. I contemplating using it, but right away I'm kind of like, no, that one doesn't feel right either. It's still too busy. And this is where I just got a charcoal gray cardstock, and I decided I was going to keep that pink plaid corner, and then I would just fill in the rest of the 12 by 12 with this charcoal cardstock, and that would just be the background. And even though I lose the fun pattern, just having that solid gray really just helps give your eye a place to rest amongst all the other chaos. So this page was just so much fun to make. So I kind of decided that's what I'm doing. I did want there to be some fun texture around the gray. I just didn't want it to be, there's a lot of straight corners on this page apart from the scissors and the tag. So I'm trying to get creative now as I'm getting towards the end of the page to add some texture and some things that are kind of interesting and not so boxy. So even though I am sticking this gray down in a square on this layout, I'm going to end up tearing the sides that are overlapping the plaid, so that gives you a little bit of interest. And I really like that too, because you get to see the white core of the cardstock, and I just think it adds a really cool touch. So I'm just trying to now trim up my new 12 by 12. I'm going to ink the pink parts of this. And now this is my new base instead of the moth paper, which is sitting next to me, giving me very guilty looks. I'm going to have to try to play with that one soon, I think. But yeah, I just had so much fun playing with One Canoe 2. Again, I can't even tell you guys. But here I'm going in with my ruler and just tearing a bit of this charcoal. I'm not trying to make it super neat. I really like those subtle like crooked areas. I just think it adds a lot of character. So I'm going to do that down both sides. I also somehow think it helps connect this gray paper to the pink paper a little bit more, just having something in between. And now when I lay everything down, I really like that. I even like how, that bluish purpley marble scrap is overlaying the cardstock. I really think that also helps connect the layers to that corner plaid. And this is where I'm trying to get creative with finishing the page and adding different shapes. So I still have my die cuts next to me. I love these hearts. So I decided to get a couple rows of these hearts on here. There's a little bicycle banner, and I thought if I had a tag, it might be nice to balance it with a banner, and the banner happens to be the same colors. I also really like that it's a bicycle because the Cabinets of Curiosity is very, there's a lot of mechanical. There's unicycles, and I don't know if there was a specific bicycle, but there is a lot of gears and steampunk kind of vibes with this particular Cirque du Soleil show. So I thought the bicycle even was perfect. And then before I glued everything down, I decided I needed something on the background. I just cannot handle having a solid colored background. So I did go in and add some gold Heidi Swap Color Shine, just again to pull that gold around the page a little bit, just so it's not in the few elements I did have. And then I do have both One Canoe 2 hashtag sticker books. These are the only hashtag sticker books I have, are the One Canoe 2 ones. So I went through them wanting to find stuff, and there was a bunch of word stickers and smaller embellishment type stickers that were in the color scheme. But in the end, I was really wanting something not flat. I kind of felt like there's enough going on this page with all the icons and words and all of that. I really needed simple embellishment. So what I ended up doing was, after I stuck this down, I went and got some gold, just simple gold brads, And I'm going to use them the way I normally use enamel dots and just do a cluster in 3 in opposite corners of the page. Again, just to spread the gold out a little bit, but adding that bit of hardware, I think it really ties into the show with being kind of steampunky. I'm glad I got some actual metal on this page. But I just love that it adds a little bit of texture and shine, and I think it was the perfect finishing touch. I'm not doing a title. I'm not doing journaling. I really feel like the photos are self-explanatory, especially because Marcus and I are in front of the promo board and it has the name of the show and Cirque du Soleil and all that kind of stuff. And I've scrapbooked the show before in the past. I think it was before my YouTube days, so I don't think there's a video of it, but I have scrapbooked Cirque du Soleil Kurios from when me and my mom went for Mother's Day. So I kind of felt like it wasn't super important to go into the show details. It was more about the experience going with Marcus and all that kind of stuff. So here I'm looking at the word stickers to see if I want to add them. But in the end, I just know it's going to add to the chaos. And I kind of love the current amount of chaos I have. So this is where I stopped. So here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.